Over the years, the Legend of Zelda series has changed and evolved, and so have the locales and geographical locations, which also vary from game to game. However, there are elements of geography that reoccur multiple times throughout the series. One of my favourite reoccurring landmarks from the Legend of Zelda series is Death Mountain, the monstrous volcano that towers above Hyrule and serves as a home for the Goron race. Today, I'll be going over my top 5 variants of Death Mountain within the series. All appearances of Death Mountain over the course of the series will be viable for my list, even if the volcano in question isn't specifically called Death Mountain in its respective game. Lastly, keep in mind that this is my list and completely my opinion. Your opinion will probably differ from mine, and feel free to put down your list in the comments below. Now, without further ado, Cobbers and Cobber-ettes, let's get started. First is Death Mountain from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This is one of my favourites because of its winding passageways and incoming falling rocks. Let me explain. So, you enter the volcano by making your way through dark passages, constantly fearful of taking a wrong turn and falling into an endless chasm. Once you exit the cave, you must navigate your way up the volcano while massive boulders are tumbling down, trying to turn Link into a pancake. Once the player gets to the top of the mountain, they can look down and see the ground of Hyrule far below. The first time I played A Link to the Past, I absolutely just wondered at the sights of Hyrule. It really gave the sense that Link was high in the mountains, at the top of the world. A Link to the Past's version of Death Mountain is kept from being higher in my list because of its relative small size and lack of activities to do once the player has gone through it once. Mind you, its Dark World theme variant does rock the best theme out of any variant of Death Mountain, with the exception of number 2. Well, you'll see what that is. After jumping off the Crimson Loftwing and falling through the clouds to the province of Elden in The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, I knew that Elden Volcano was going to be one of my favourite locations in the entire Zelda series. You see, even though Elden Volcano is not called Death Mountain, it is the same volcano as Death Mountain, it just has a different name, so therefore it is still viable for my list, okay? Anyway, back to why Elden is my number 4. What Elden Volcano does extremely well is that it gives the player a great sense of progression. Upon entering the region, the player starts in the foothills of the volcano. However, by following the path upward, the player can make their way up the mountain while fighting the goblins, avoiding boulders, and riding air currents. And then, at the very top of the mountain is a stunning Chinese-inspired temple. You also come back to this area twice during the game, with new secrets to uncover each time. Ultimately, Elden only made number 4 for me because of its overabundance of linearity when climbing up the mountain, and the fact that it doesn't really stand out from the rest of the items on this list. Ocarina of Time's version of Death Mountain is generic. However, in retrospective, that's not actually really a bad thing. It can be seen from pretty much all of Hyrule, providing a visible anchor for the player and a reference point so that they know where they are. The actual path up Death Mountain in Ocarina of Time isn't particularly large. However, the giant Goron situated on the peak scared the living daylights out of me when I first encountered it. And Goron City, within the centre of the mountain, is a cool little town with a great sense of place. The crater and both of the dungeons within this Death Mountain are exactly what you want inside a 1,000-degree hunk of stone.
Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos!
A few minutes ago, I said that number 2 had a better theme than Death Mountain from A Link to the Past. With that in mind, the obvious answer for number 2 then is Dragon Roost Island from the Wind Waker. Dragon Roost is similar to Elden in the sense that they share different titles than Death Mountain. However, they are the same gigantic jumble of rocks forged by tectonic plates as the others, even if they do not share the same namesake. Hey guys, I'm just interrupting the video here because I was reading the Zelda Encyclopedia and I read something that, well, it kind of contradicted what I just said. Basically, I read on this page that you can see right here that, well, Dragon Roost Island is actually Zora's domain in the future, flooded, not Death Mountain. So this does kind of annoy me because it's not Death Mountain anymore, so technically it shouldn't be on this list, but I'm going to still include it as, you know, it's a fiery mountain in a Zelda game, so whatever, just go with me for this one, alright? Thanks guys, let's get back to the video. Unpause. Thus, Dragon Roost still applies for this list. Moving along. What makes it so great is what it's different, what sets it apart from the others. Seeing as all of Hyrule, but the peaks of the mountains are covered in water in Wind Waker, the same can be said for Death Mountain. Only the very top part of the original volcano can be seen as it protrudes out of the Great Sea. This gives Dragon Roost a distinct look, which combined with the fog cloud forming a halo around the dragon on the peak, and Wind Waker's nice cell-shaded look, make this particular rocky outcrop anything but plain. Goodness, I just realised that I haven't even babbled on about the interior yet. So I shall. The main inside of Dragon Roost is, and it has to be said, quite boring really. There's no distinct architecture, and there's not really many rooms to critique as it is. At least the race that dwell in the volcano has some originality. Dragon Roost is a home to the Rito, evolved Zora who have become bird-like over time thanks to the inhospitable nature of the Great Sea. Last time I checked, evolution didn't quite work like that, but whatever, it's a fantasy game with talking boats and magical leaf people. Let's move on. The greatest Death Mountain in all of the Legend of Zelda is none other than the Death Mountain from Breath of the Wild. Boasting a scale that no other volcano in gaming can beat, this variation of the famous mountain embraces the non-linearity that the game it resides in has in spades. The act of getting to the mountain itself is a challenge. Mind you, finding it isn't that hard, especially with a giant mechanical lizard climbing around its peak. What is hard though is scaling the damn thing. It's just so massive, and the actual path that the game offers is filled with guardians, aka heart attack. If you do manage to make it to the top, the heat alone will do more than burn your socks off. I hope you have some fire resistant armor or elixirs, because if you don't, you might as well call it a day. At the top of the mountain is a town full of Gorons, a mining area, and other miscellaneous things for you to mess around with. Doing the Divine Beast quest will also give you access to the very top of the peak. You get here and you're treated to one of the best views in all of gaming. Now all that's left is to jump off. Thanks for watching Cobbers and Cobber-ettes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click the like button and subscribe for more Zelda content delivered to you by yours truly. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you all later. Farewell and have a spanking good day, my friends.